Welcome back. So here is the a little bit more complicated Gridworld example. So in this example, we have obstacles. These marked as red, and our aim is to reach to this terminal state shown like this, and we would like to find the shortest path. And to find the shortest path, we need to design our reward function wisely. We're going to discuss about that, and this time I am going to provide a link to the code so that you can download this code to your computers and you can play. And if for some reason you use it for research purposes, you should cite to this video, Gridworld example. So here, an agent, let's say, if the agent is here 2 by 2, there are four possible actions. You can go up, down, left or right. And if agent wants to go up, then it transitions to the next state, which is 2, 3 on the x and y axes. And here we are running runtime assurance mechanism, which is already included in the code as well. You are going to see. So agent selects actions from the filtered safe set. For what does this mean is, for example, let's say agent is here. Then this action up is not safe because you are going to hit to the obstacle. Or let's say agent is here. These are the safe actions. You cannot hit the obstacle and you cannot leave the grid. So basically, when in each position state, this runtime assurance filters those actions, and then agent chooses actions only from the permissible action set. So we are going to use neural Q-learning, and I would like to do a comparison between with and without experience replay, because as you know, in the previous videos examples, I focused on very simple example, and this time we are looking at a really nice example. It is one of this Gridworld is one of the benchmarks in reinforcement learning. So in neural Q-learning, we are approximating the Q table using a basis and theta. And theta gets updated as I described in the previous videos. Like you can look at neural Q-learning and SARSA, or you can look at the videos posted on this list after neural networks. Right after neural networks, we covered reinforcement learning in continuous spaces, then neural Q-learning and SARSA, and then we did an example. I am not repeating what I already covered in the previous videos, but I should highlight one key thing. Previously, we only had one state, right, x. So we were choosing radial basis functions. But now, since we have a two-dimensional environment, how we are going to choose this basis or features for the neural network approximation? So let me discuss this. This is basically, how you should choose neural networks. Each blue dot represents a radial basis function neuron. For example, I basically place these radial basis functions all over the place to cover this 10 by 10 grid. So here, this radial basis function slightly differs from the one-dimensional radial basis function. Here, it looks like this. For example, this one, right? It has two centers. Its first center on the x-axis is 9, and its second center on the y-axis is 8. So this radial basis function covers this part. And same way, basically, you need to cover the entire 10 by 10 grid. In the code you can play, you can use less number of neurons, you can automatically change it, you can make it 5 by 5, 20 by 20. Again, download the code, play with it. It is very important that you play and develop some experience. And make sure you understand the code. If not, leave a comment, I will reply. So 10 by 10, which means we have 100 radial basis function neurons and a bias, very important to include a bias, for each action. So as I explained on the timestamp 8:33 seconds of this reinforcement learning in continuous spaces video, I am here using action separation. So basically 100 plus 1, so we have 101 basis for left, 101 for right, same for the other actions. So overall we have 404 radial basis functions covering basically the this space. All right, so some certain parts of the code is extension of what we already did in other codes, but since this is a two-dimensional, it is a little bit over 300 lines, so I don't expect you to code. I always encourage you guys to code, but this is too much. So from this link, tinyurl.com, runtime example, you can download the code. I call it runtime example because initially I was thinking to introduce this as a first I cover runtime assurance and then this is the example. Actually it is more than that, like two-dimensional is another contribution, comparing neural Q learning with and without experience replay is another contribution of this video to your learning. Anyway, I would like to highlight a few parts of the code so that you can play when you download. So this is set. If it is set to 1, then experience replay is on. If you set it to 0, then you turn off the experience replay. These are different settings for gamma, alpha, epsilon. I set exploration rate to 0.3, which is like 30%. It worked quite well in this example. And I usually, choose for this example 3000. You can multiply with some, now you can increase or decrease to see the effect. You can change the terminal state to see what's going on. Right now, terminal state is located at 1010, which is this state of the environment. You can change the obstacles. This is how I inserted obstacles. This is radial basis function parameters, but this sigma is slightly different than D1 here. It is basically appears in here. So our D1 becomes basically 1/2 sigma to the power of 2 in this sense. You can make the radial basis function thinner or fatter to experience their effects. If I do a video to illustrate everything, it will be like 1 hour. It will be boring. So that's why, for interested people, download, play with it, and if you like, write your observation as a comment so that the others will know. It will be nice. Again, you can increase or decrease the number of neurons. I am using 1010. You can make it 20, 20, 5, 5. Let's see what other parts you can play. This is the action separation part. I explained this chronicle in the this video actually. And then for experience replay, 10,000 I think is a nice buffer size. And this is the batch size, the number of samples used for each update. I try to include a lot of these comments so that you can follow. Again, you can decrease this or increase it to see its effect. When I played with it, I found that this is kind of a nice value, optimal. I usually go with 4, 16, 32, 64, 128. You don't have to, you can use 100, 200, up to you. Then the iterations start. So this is the runtime assurance part, basically. Get the valid action. It basically calls a function, and then that function basically finds the valid safe actions, and then agent choose among those actions. This is a function at the end of the code, so I will explain when we arrive there. Here is the reward policy, when you reach terminal state, you get 10. For each move, to encourage shortest path, for each move you make, you get -1 point. So once you run it, eventually the optimal policy will be the shortest optimal policy. So then if experience replay is on, this part is quite similar to the experience replay video, so I am skipping and you can look at it. And else, basically, if you are not using experience replay, this part is quite similar to standard neural Q-learning code. So I am skipping those parts. This is also similar policy determination. This is, we are now looking both X and Y calculations, and this is like plotting routine, visualization, and of the basically putting arrows so that you can visualize the optimal policy. So here are the two functions. Get next state is used somewhere along it is a function, basically it is a transitioning function. Here, so get next state. So basically, depending on current xy and control u, it determines where you go next. Probably you realized in most of the lectures I used S and A to denote states and action. In this video, S is replaced with X and Y, and A is replaced with U. I am using this control systems terminology in this code as well. So hopefully this is not confusing. And basically, this is go up, down, left, and right. These are the valid actions. So you provide your current X and Y, grid size, and obstacles. And it is like if your current state is near an obstacle, this basically, it is unsafe. It only returns to safe action. So this is the runtime assurance part of the code that works on the background. All right, so here are the results. This is neural Q-learning. First, I waited, so without experience replay, I waited 3,000 iterations. And when I look at here, they are not converging. So I need to wait longer than 3,000. Otherwise, you are going to get one arrow wants to go here, other arrow wants to go there. So if you start from here and follow the arrows, this is your optimal policy after 3,000 iterations. That's not bad, actually, but you have some problems here, which you can see non-optimal. You can also see from here theta values, they didn't converge. So we need to either increase alpha or wait longer. I waited longer. So this code seems to be converging around 15,000 iterations. There are some still waits going up and down. These are good, stable. So you can wait up to 20,000-ish, but it is more or less close to get convergent. And here is what we have. For example, let's say if you start from here, you go, this is your optimal shortest path to this terminal state, which kind of makes sense. Maybe if we wait longer, maybe slight differences, but this is the optimal policy looking quite right. Now, this is neural Q-learning with experience replay, 3,000 iterations, and I will say this is definitely converged. This is a nice constant values. So, this is 3,000 iterations, but you are also doing batching, right? Mini batch. So I think we choose 128. So when you run it, the duration, 15,000 iterations without experience replay should be similar in length when you run it to 3,000. So I really like this behavior. It is very convergent. If we start from here, basically, it goes like this. This was like that. I think this was slightly different than here. This is going straight and up. So here 1, 2, 3, 4 steps. Here 1, 2, 3, again 4 steps. So both of them. So when you start from here, either you go like this or like that. Since it costs 4, I would say both of them agent spends minimum energy going either like this or like that. So here are the results. Again, download the code from this link. It is a link to my basically Dropbox folder, so you can copy paste the code and play. This is a simple Matlab code, and I think playing with those yourself will give you a nice experience. You can explore how you change the discount factor. You can increase, decrease exploration rate. I think I talked too much. I'm ending the video. Take care, guys. So play with this.